Hello, Mark Schultz here, your Regional Labor Market Analyst with the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development, here to give you your Southwest Minnesota monthly labor market update. Today we will look at the labor force, employment, and unemployment trends for the region since January of 2020, as well as take a look at job seeker per vacancy trends. As shown in the graph, the region's labor force has experienced a decline from January of 2020 to the most recent estimate in June of 2021. Overall, the decrease has led to 5,167 fewer labor force participants for a drop of 2.4%. The labor force peaked in July of 2020 at 226,128 participants, after gaining 10,580 people since May of 2020. However, the labor force did not hit its bottom until March of 2021, when it reached a low of 210,556 participants. Since the peak in July of 2020, the labor force has shed 12,692 members for a drop of 5.6%. The number of employed individuals definitely saw a roller coaster ride of a trend from January of 2020 to June of 2021, experiencing a series of ebbs and flows. Overall, the employment count dropped by 4,111, or down 2%, during this year-and-a-half time frame. The number of employed individuals peaked in October of 2020 at almost 215,800 employed individuals, but has dropped by 10,184, or down 5% since then. Unlike what was seen in the labor force trends, employment peaked in October of 2020, whereas the labor force peaked earlier in July of 2020. Similarly, the employment count bottomed out in May of 2020, whereas the labor force did not reach its bottom until March of 2021. Like the employment count trends, the number of unemployed individuals also went on a roller coaster ride during this year-and-a-half time frame. Overall, the number of unemployed has dropped by 1,056 for a decline of 11.1% since January of 2020. This count hit its peak of 15,093 in May of 2020, just 2 months after the pandemic took a firm grasp on the region's labor market. The number of unemployed individuals eventually bottomed out at 6,786 people in October of 2020. From the peak count in May of 2020 to the most recent estimate, that being June of 2021, the number of unemployed decreased by 43.8%, with a decline of just over 6,600 people. To further illustrate the impact the pandemic has had on the workers in the region, we can take a look at the job seeker per vacancy ratio trends. As shown in the graph, the number of job seekers per vacancy has rather steadily declined over the last decade. That is, until the pandemic hit the region. The number of job seekers per vacancy was 0.8 to 1 in the fourth quarter of 2019, but had increased to 2.1 to 1 in the second quarter of 2020. While this meant that there were 21 unemployed job seekers for every 10 vacancies, employers still struggled to fill their openings, and for a variety of reasons. These reasons include people still fearing the COVID-19 virus, childcare issues, and employers waiting to be called back by their employers, just to name a few. However, the job seeker per vacancy ratio returned to 0.8 to 1 in the fourth quarter of 2020. In summary, overall, the region's labor force has been decreasing, and the pandemic hit hard in terms of the impact on the labor force, employment, and unemployment counts. Also, the current job seeker per vacancy ratio rests at 0.8 to 1, illustrating how tight the labor market is in the Southwest region. If you're interested in exploring more about the labor market in Southwest region or statewide, feel free to check out our 2 publications, which are available to view online. The Minnesota Economic Trends, which is a quarterly publication, and the Minnesota Employment Review, which is Deed's monthly publication on economic topics. If you find yourself needing further assistance, please contact the LMI helpline at 1-888-234-1114 or contact the Southwest Regional Analyst, Luke Greiner, at luke.greiner@state.mn.us. Thank you for listening, and be sure to stay tuned for next month's economic update video.